Welcome, welcome, welcome to Writing, Coding, and Sharing for all grade levels with Elementary. I've been waiting for this session. I learned about Elementary a while ago, and it's just such a good product. And I've been trying to spread the word. So I'm so happy to have Nicole with us here today to spread that word. If you're watching us live, you are able to get a certificate of appreciation. You just have to fill out the evaluation, and I will post that link 15 minutes before the session ends. If you're watching us on YouTube, unfortunately, you cannot get that certificate, but you can get the knowledge. And right underneath this video, if you click on show more in the description, you can actually get any resource that we want to give you with this video. Yay! So you see our Twitter handles up there. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter. Who am I, you're asking? Well, I am Dr. Desiree Alexander. I am the founder, CEO of Educator Alexander Consulting, and I do these webinars all the time, but this is our last one for 2020. Bye-bye 2020. And we do have some coming up in the spring and winter and all 2021. Now on Twitter, I'm at Educator Alex. All other social media, including my YouTube channel, I'm Educator Alexander. So find me, follow me. Now, coming up in January, our first one will be, I don't know if this is the first one, I think so, but the first one will be January 16th, and that's Organize Your Google Life with Jen. I saw Jen present for like 3 minutes, y'all, and I was like, yeah, gotta come present for us. I love everything that you do. So she's gonna come present for us January 16th, so you can register for that now. And then if you came to the mindfulness webinar that we did, I think last month, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my goodness, it was so doggone good. And she's going to come back and do one per month for 1 hour. The kickoff was 2 hours, but for 1 hour, you can see the different sessions she's going to do. So you can register for each and every one of these right now. So just wellfulness, mindfulness for you, for your students. Really, I mean, you know, people pay big bucks for this stuff. So I'm very excited that she's going to come and do a series for us. So these are the only 2 that we have scheduled right now, but of course we're going to have a lot more scheduled. And if you're interested in doing one, I'm going to put a call out throughout the break and probably starting next week for people that want to do webinars. I'm happy to have you come and do one with me. And of course, we're going to do an evaluation at the end. This link is not active yet. It will be active later. So Nicole, unmute yourself and take it away.
So hello everybody, my name is Nicole Kang. I am the co-founder of Elementari, the website right here, where the real goal is to combine writing with computer science and really get students to be engaged in creating something that they can feel proud of, and hopefully also get an authentic audience to read and play what they do. So to get started, well, I guess a little bit more about me is I used to be a STEM educator, and then I ended up across the ocean in Taiwan. So previously I graduated with a bachelor's at MIT, did a lot of stuff in scientific inquiry, game-based learning, creating education games, things like that. Then I ended up going to across the world to do stuff related to English language acquisition because I don't speak Chinese very well. So I switched over. And now I'm merging the 2 together to create Elementari to hopefully get your kids excited about writing. So I just want to show you really quickly something that you can do in your class. I know a lot of classrooms now being digital want their kids to create a digital product, not only to, let's say, practice digital citizenship skills, digital literacy skills, but also just make something that's fun to read and to play. So this is a simple About Me book that I usually do for Hour of Code, and it works kind of like an app. You have buttons to navigate, you can go through. This can later on be extended to pretty much any type of project. You could do an application on a research product, all sorts of other things. And so I'm going to actually go and do my PD slides. I actually planned to try to do a new one earlier, but I'll also share this link out so you can use any of these slides in part or in full for your own needs or for your own trainings. And in the chat, if you can, please let me know what grades level you teach and maybe what subject you teach, because I really want this to be tailored for you guys so you can get the most benefit out of it. I will be covering in general all grade levels from K to 12 and different applications that you can use to combine writing and coding. So to get started, what is Elementari anyway? For those of you who don't know, Elementari is a K to 12 online platform to write and code interactive stories using professional illustrations and sounds. So librarians like us because we have the whole digital literacy, digital citizenship, and creation, and we take student privacy really seriously. So COPA, FERPA, most compliant, and you can find our website at www.elementari, spelled with the I at the end, .io. So I see a lot of people who are ELA, K to 12, 6th to 8th grade, people who are doing technology, EFL. EFL is great. I used to teach EFL. And I'm not going to go through the demo, but there is a demo video here. I'm going to actually demo it for you, and we're going to try to write something together. And if you want, and if you have a device that can run multiple tabs, such as Zoom plus another tab, you can write your own story as well. And we'll get started with that a little bit later. But what are coded stories anyway? And really, coded stories are basically stories that can be played like an app. And these feature a couple of things. It could be animations, music, sound effects, and voiceovers, which are super important if you are doing EFL or just language acquisition in general, and even different endings. So I'll showcase a lot of student stories near the end, but I really want to go through first, in general, different project ideas that you could do from basically K to 12. So another thing is that we've seen teachers do is they've been using Elementari to create interactive stories for remote learning. So I'm really big on having students create because as a teacher, it's easier if your students are actually working on a project than continuously lecturing, and it's more fun for students. But there are a lot of cases, like if you're teaching EFL, where it might be really useful to have the visuals or have a new way that has a new way of presenting that supports, multiple modes of like sound, voiceovers, audio, visuals, text, etc. So that can be some things that you do. So like, for example, here's a story, and articles, and I will share this presentation with you so you have all of the links because I have a lot of information that I really want to cover and very little time. And so these are some examples we've had, like, EFL, and the articles. This one was introducing potatoes and the history of the potato before they went into their synchronous Zoom meeting. And I think Spy Training Escape Room was just a fun escape room the teacher did for their students to play. So what I really want to cover is why Elementari for writing. And really, there's a lot of research that shows that extended writing, of course, not only improves writing skills, but also improves reading comprehension. And Elementari, the whole goal is to make writing fun, because the problem that kids have is maybe they like writing in 1st and 2nd grade, but then as they get older, writing becomes less fun and more of a subject that they hate, similar to math, unfortunately. And so we're trying to make it fun by using the visuals, by using the sound effects, and using the coded interactions as well. So the other thing is Elementari is really great for personalized and differentiating learning because it could be really used for any range of writing skills. You have students who will create comics, and you will have students who will create paragraphs, and you will have maybe students who create some sort of visuals with maybe voiceover support. So there's a lot of different ways that it could be used to create content. And we have this thing called a remix, which allows you to take any published story on Elementari and remix it as a template. And I'll show you how that works in a little bit later as well. Finally, from a teacher perspective, I'm not going to actually showcase this, but just so you know, if you do subscribe for premium for elementary, you can provide direct feedback on student stories. Elementary is free for anyone to use. A teacher can create a classroom for free with up to 35 student accounts. And you can obviously just create an account for free. So you right now can go on elementary.io, be like, what is this? Sign up, it's free, check it out, and your kids can also check it out as well. Classrooms are really great because you as a teacher can then review your students' stories and see what they're doing, which is really great if you're in remote learning where you can't, watch over their shoulder to see what's going on. So also, this is a premium feature. We have student engagement analytics. You can see time spent writing, time spent coding, characters written, lines coded, etc. And my goal is I want writing and coding to be across the curriculum. So writing can be inside science, coding can be inside science, coding can be inside the ELA, and everything can kind of be intertwined. One misconception that people might have is they come in and they're saying, oh, no, I'm an English teacher. I don't know anything about coding, or I'm a PE teacher, I don't know anything about coding, or a music teacher, I don't know anything, and that is fine. So the whole goal is first get them to write. It looks a lot like PowerPoint, and I'll show you, and then the kids will actually take the lead to help you and help each other learn how to code. And it's visual and very easy. So I have a question where it's, can you have more than one class? So basically on elementary, you can have one class for free, up to 35 students. After that, you have to pay a premium for the premium account, and then you can have as many classes as you want. Other options you could do is you could just create multiple accounts using multiple emails and get on that way. That's fine as well if you want to be a little bit creative. Okay.
Can you tell us how much the premium is?
Yes. So the premium is, you could go to the pricing page here, and we have multiple tiers. So free is awesome. And then otherwise you have monthly and annual. So by annual, it's $8 per month billed yearly. This is up to 35 student accounts, but you can have as many classes as you want. And then Educator Plus is $25 per month billed yearly, and that's $150. And if you want to go school-wide, you can just go get an instant quote. It starts at $2 per student per year, and when you get more students, then the price shrinks because there's a discount applied. Okay, so let's actually get started with showing you how elementary actually works in terms of creating, and then I'll go back and show student projects and how you can incorporate it, because otherwise, if you don't really see it, it's kind of hard to explain. So the first thing is that you can create a project, and if you create a classroom, you'll create an assignment, and students will see that assignment and they can go in and create based upon your assignment. But right now I'm just creating an empty project. And if you're familiar with Google Slides and PowerPoint, it's very similar. You have slides on the left, and you have your main slide that you work on, or your main page that you work on. So if you are at home and you want to try to do stuff with me, you can go on elementary.io and sign up for an account and click on create to just try things out. So we have backgrounds here, and we have free backgrounds and pro backgrounds. So if you're free, you use the free. Otherwise, there's a watermark, and it's a premium feature. Same thing with uploading images. That's a premium feature as well. But overall, we have about 16,000 professional illustrations and sounds that you can use if you do go premium. But people have created really cool stuff already just with the pro, and I'll show you some of those as well. So it's drag and drop. So we've seen kids as young as maybe kindergarten using this to just create picture book stories, just pictures, maybe having help with typing a text, but it's mostly just pictures. So let's say, like, if I want, I don't know, a cat, I can search for a cat, and let's see if any good cats come up. So I like this cat, he's kind of funny. And I can resize him, and I can give him a speech bubble and make him say something. So I can say, hello everyone, how are you doing? And we can resize this like so, and do all the fun things that we can do with presentation platforms, changing the font, changing the color, etc. So I'm going to get rid of all of this. Now on Elementary, we have two sides for every page. The front side is just for picture books, which is great for first grade if they want to do like an About Me book, or if they want to write a simple hidden picture book, which is really popular, like hiding an image on a page and trying to find it. It's great. But the cool thing about Elementary is the coding. So in order to code, we have to click on this button at the top. It's called Event Graph, and it flips it to the back side. Now, if you're completely new to Elementary, you're going to actually have a tutorial that pops up, and there's a lot more tutorials that are step-by-step that you can go through by clicking on this tutorial button. It's at the bottom, and you could do things like, how do I animate this dragon? It'll lead you step-by-step through that. But since I'm here, I'll just do the tutorial with you, I guess, in a different way. So we have here on the right-hand side a whole bunch of tabs. And if you're unfamiliar with coding, don't really worry. I'm going to explain what it means. Basically, functions are our actions. They're our like verbs that we tell the computer. So we tell the computer what to do. So typically, you would maybe want to say, I want to play a text effect. Like I want the text to appear and have a nice text effect happen. And I want to say when I want to do it. So Desiree is saying she did the tutorial, it's super easy. Yeah, so second grade can do the tutorial independently at home. So that's pretty much okay. I haven't really tested it with younger kids, but second grade was able to do it pretty good. So let's do on page start. And I want to say on page start, I want to play this text effect. And once again, for those of you who are really intimidated by coding, don't worry. This coding is actually completely optional. You can create a picture book or a visual novel or whatever you want, an essay, and you can publish without needing to code anything. But I think you'll be surprised by what your kids will produce because they want their story to look cool, right? And in the process of wanting their story to look cool, they'll learn how to code these different interactions and animations. So I have 3 boxes here. How do you think I connect them? If you're familiar with Blockly or Scratch or code.org, they use a different way of coding. It's actually called Blockly-based coding. And we use something that's called node-based coding. So I have this triangle. And where do you think I connect this triangle to? So I'm going to connect this triangle to the other white triangle. Yep, good job, Lisa. And then this purple circle, where do I connect the purple circle to? The other purple circle. So I'm just going to test it out and see what this does. And I'm going to click on preview. And it'll say, hello, everyone. How are you doing? And you'll have a nice typewriter animation effect. So I saw that a lot of you guys are English teachers or EFL teachers. Excuse me, my throat is dying. So one thing that you might want to do is you might want to say, oh, I want my kids to do a voiceover. And let me tell you, kids in first grade love voiceovers. Second grade, they love voiceovers. Even up to, I think, middle school, they still like voiceovers. And in order to add a voiceover, we actually have a tutorial here, how to play a recorded sound. You can go through that. But basically, we click on this Sounds tab. In the Sounds tab, we have music and we have sound effects. So you can add background music, you can add sound effects if you want. And we have this orange button here that says Record Voiceover. So I'm going to click on Record Voiceover, and it'll have a pop-up appear. Now I have this button, and I can click on it, and I'll have a 3, 2, 1 countdown. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? And then I'll press stop when it's done. Now, you'll see that I have some white space or blank space at the beginning and at the end. Well, I can trim that out, and I can just click on the trim button, and I could just move it to where I want to trim, something like this, and I'll press save when I'm done with my trim. And I'll just give it a name. Hello, how are you doing? And I'll save it. So you'll notice now that I have a little 1 in right here. It's bright red, that's the color. And that basically says how many sounds are on the page. So if I click on it, it'll open it up. You'll see, hello, how are you doing? Recorded by me. I can delete it if I want. I can, when I add background music, it'll also add it to here. And so sounds are by page. So if I want another recording, I have to record another one on a different page. So I'm going to go to the event graph now, because in order to code anything, I have to go to the event graph. So I recorded a sound, but it won't play automatically. It's up to me to decide when I want to play this. So do I want to play the sound when I click on the cat? Do I want to play the sound when the page starts? There's a lot of different ways we can do so. So in my case, I want to play the sound when the page starts, because I'm already showing this text effect. And I think it'll be cool to have the text effect and my voice go at the same time. So I have my function here, and I have this function, play, record, sound, like so. So since I want these two functions to play at the same time, I think the easiest way is to put them kind of under each other. That's my, my quick tip for you guys. And then I want to connect on page start to play, record, sound. So if you're familiar with flow charts, it kind of looks like that. And we go left to right, and we kind of follow the white triangles or the arrows. So I mentioned before Blockly and code.org and Scratch, and this is a node-based visual programming environment that is used in professional software. So once again, it's another real-world connection that you can bring to your students. I always like to bring up Fortnite or, let's say, Rocket League, because kids love those games, right? And you're like, oh, what's the similarities between Fortnite, Rocket League, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Final Fantasy 7 Remake? Well, they're all created by the same engine, and it's called Unreal Engine. And Unreal Engine has a visual coding environment that is kind of similar to this. Let me go back to my PD, and I'll show you a slide where I detail it. But this is Unreal Engine. And Blender is another example of a professional software. And I also recently found out that basically all the animations that we watch, whether that's superhero movies or like animations like Moana, a lot of them use software that is that has visual coding elements to it, which I thought was really, really cool. Yeah, it's another way to get kids excited. So let's hit preview and see what happens. Oh, I have to share my sound. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Okay, so I spoke a little bit fast, and the typing doesn't really match, but I can change the speed, and I can change it to fast. And I can change also the effect, so I can have a fade effect as well. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? And there we go. So that's a very simple way to really get kids excited about writing. And what is really cool is some of the teachers have actually told me that when their kids are coding their stories, they're spending more time looking at their writing, which is really, really rare. Normally, at least for me, in my English classes, kids would write their essay, they would turn it in, and nobody will look at it again. So I think it's really great that kids are going through the process, the writing process, and it's integrated with the entire debugging process as well. So we have the writing process as well as like maybe even the engineering design process, and it's kind of intertwined. We don't have to think of these subjects as separate because they're not separate in the real world. So it's all about trying to create applications. So I talked a lot about the platform, but what I really want to showcase is the fact that we can publish, because that's really important for kids to have an authentic audience. And being able to publish means that there is a URL that is public that can be shared. Now, yes, Desiree mentioned something that's really great, which is please, if you have any questions, type them in the chat. I will try my best to read while I talk and answer any of your questions. So I'm going to go back and take a look at all of our examples. So once again, this set of slides, I will share that with you as well. So it has links to different student examples. You can click on them and read them. So for K-1, I really like audio picture books. Digital storytelling doesn't need to have written words. And if you have the support to use the voiceover, like the teacher can say, oh, what's going on in this image? Please describe this image. Or if you're like EFL and you're teaching a new language, this is a really great activity too. Like, explain what's happening in this image, or what's the story behind this, and having the kids speak out what maybe the dialogue is, or maybe the story sequence. All of those things are really great. I also mentioned before hidden picture books. This was actually done by a first grade classroom, and I saw the stories published on Elementary, and I thought it was super cute. And it's Where is Ducky? So kids will learn basic keyboarding skills like copy and paste, and how to resize images, and doing some basic typewriting skills. And they'll hide their character on different backgrounds and maybe even play around with layering objects to hide them. And then you obviously will have a very short sentence that will say, Ducky loves flowers. Where is Ducky? And I don't know if you see Ducky, but Ducky is hiding right here where the flower is, the white flower. So I thought that was super cute. And the best part about all of this is kids can play each other's stories. And it's a really great tie-in to digital citizenship, which is really important nowadays, especially with everyone going remote or blended. So the other thing I have is, I mentioned templates before, and I do have a curriculum. It's called Writing Dialogue from a Fable. Let me find it. Let me get it. So there's already curriculum on Elementary. If you go to the curriculums tab, you'll see a whole bunch. And when you create your classroom, you can then assign a curriculum. So this is all pre-done. You can go through and edit it, of course, but it gives you somewhere to start. So I also try to align these to different standards. Typically, the standards are American, so it's Common Core English Language, Common Core ELA standards, CSTA, which is the Computer Science Standards, ISTE, and ASL, which is the American Association of School Librarians Standards, I think. Yeah. So if you want to assign it, you just click on Assign to Classroom. It'll have a pop-up. And here will be what the students will see. So you can see exactly what they'll see. And there's 3 templates that they can choose from. And so all you have to do is select a classroom and choose the classroom you want and click Add, and this assignment will be added to your classroom. So I want to show you what remixes are. So before I get too far, I'm going to go to a template story. So this is a template, and any story on Elementary can be a template. And so here we have just a picture, and the goal is to have students fill in the text so that this fable makes sense. So this is part of a fable unit, most likely, where you're trying to teach kids story sequence, as well as what is the moral of a fable mean, maybe something with what is dialogue and what is narration, those type of things. And here you can do a template and you can fill things in to make sure that that we get to the moral of the story, which is union is strength. So all you have to do if you assign it is the students, when they click start writing, it'll pop up with the templates. But if you are just, checking things out on your own account, you're like, oh, I want to try this one out. You click on this button called Remix, and it'll copy the story and all of its code. So here we go. So now we have the story here. We can navigate through, we can go in, we can say like, once upon a time there was a family of zebras, something like that. And then we could go to the next slide, and then we can continue writing our story. So this is an example of how templates can be used for younger classrooms. So Sharon is asking a very interesting question. Can lessons be assigned via Google Classrooms, or can a link to the assignment be shared in Google Classrooms? So I will take a look into how we can develop a better Google Classroom integration. We do have Google Classroom syncing. So if you want to onboard your students, you just click on the Import Google Classroom button, choose your Google Classroom, and it'll import all your students that way. So your students just have to click on sign in with Google and everything is connected. But in terms of the assignments being synced right now, unfortunately, there's no easy way of syncing. You have to copy and paste, you know, the details. But yeah, that's a really great question. I'll take a look into seeing how we can make a better integration. So yeah, so this is templates, and templates are awesome because a lot of kids have trouble with figuring out what to write when they start from a blank page. And even my my profile that I did at the very, very beginning, where I was showing you what an app looks like, this is based upon a remixable template. So this is the template where it's an about me template. Maybe this is geared more for, I don't know, I would say 6th grade, middle school, something like that. And then they can go through and they can fill out this template and then maybe write 3 sentences about some of your favorites. You can also add a picture, go back to the profile, add a quote I live by, see more. Something like that. So templates are awesome, and any story that is published can be remixed. And when you remix a story, it automatically credits and notifies the original source. So once again, this ties back into digital citizenship. We have right here display credits as well. This one doesn't have any images on it, but if I go to a story that has images like this one, for example, if I scroll down, you'll see credits here, and this is the entire book credits. This is automatically generated when you publish, and here you can see the credits on this page. So that's also another thing. So one person asked how you can use the application with many teachers. So either each teacher can individually create an account, but we also have a school plan. And with the school plan, so if I go back to the pricing page, the school plan, you can basically get as many student licenses as you need, and teacher accounts are free under the school plan. So all of your teachers can be on board, and we just charge for the student licenses. And there's some other things that you can get also with the school plan. But otherwise, yes, there's always the free tier, and I recommend you just start with that and see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going through nonlinear stories. I love this. So nonlinear stories is great for 4th grade, starting 4th grade. 3rd grade is a little bit difficult because the concept of navigating through a story, not from page 1, page 2, page 3, but actually creating their own choose your own adventure. They'll need some help with that. But starting 4th grade, they take off. And I have a lesson for that. It's multiple choice quiz. That's the best one. It'll basically just show you the functions that you need. So let me just give you a quick example. I'm going to add a button, let's say. So I'm going to add a button here. And let's say, I'm going to say, get started. And I'll add a second page and add a nice background. So how this works is buttons, you can, style it however you want. We don't really care too much about that. And when we can code the button to navigate to a different page depending upon if we click on it, for example. So once again, to code, you would have to go to the event graph side of the page. And let's see if we can figure out how to code it. On click. So the event I want is on click because I want to click on the button. And what happens when I click on the button? Well, in this example, I want to go to a page. You can also go to a link. So this is useful if you want to use Elementari for instructional support. So if you want to create a presentation and you want to attach a link that maybe navigates the student to either your Zoom meeting or your LMS or an extra resource, for example, then you can do so. I don't recommend linking to a Zoom meeting, but that's just an example. So I have here purple circle to purple circle, and then white triangle to white triangle. And then I just need to choose what page I want to go to. So this is the basics of if you want to do a choose your own adventure, a virtual escape room, anything that is, or an application, anything that is considered non-linear, something that doesn't go from page 1 to page 2 to page 3, etc. The other two functions you might want are lock navigation next page and lock navigation previous page. That basically just means that you don't go to the other page by swiping. You lock the navigation. So JB asked, when I say nonlinear, does that include the ability to create a story with multiple endings? Yes, that does. So nonlinear is choose your own adventure, creating stories with multiple endings, with multiple choices, multiple branches, etc. Are animal sounds included? We do have some animal sounds, but you can also create your own, and you can also record your own sounds as well. So I'm going to preview. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Get started. So when I clicked on get started, it navigated me to the second page, but it could be another page. Like if I had more than 2 pages, it could be page 3 or page 4, etc. And I do want to have time to show you a student showcase or a couple of them, but there's one here which is really good. It's by a 5th grader. And I really want to highlight this, not because of the fact that it's a really great story, but because of what the teacher did to get them really excited about creating. So in this assignment, it was when everything shut down, COVID happened, and everyone was freaking out in the spring, okay? And what happened was the teacher assigned a buddy book assignment. So the purpose was for students to create a story for a buddy. I don't know how she paired up the buddies, but it was, I guess, for some other class or maybe another student in their class. And so when you start this story, actually, there's a dedication page where the student will say, let me just let you hear.
This story is auto, so you shouldn't have to flip the pages. Big thanks to Miss D for getting me on this, and this book is dedicated to Arnold.
So you hear this book is dedicated to Arnold. So he wrote it for his friend Arnold to read. So the stick figure had heard legends of a mystical cave in the woods, so he packed his bags and headed there. So you hear the cheeping, that's a sound effect that they added. So deep in the woods, the stick figure stumbled upon a temple in the forest. Do you wish to enter? Yes or no? Okay, help me out, chat. Yes or no? Are we gonna enter? Yes, we're gonna enter. Okay, the stick figure goes inside the house. He is spooked. It seems like you should not be in here. Stay or leave. Stay or leave. Stay. I have 1 vote. Okay, we're gonna stay. What happens? Some ghosts show up, but they are friendly. One ghost gives you an amulet. It may be useful in the future. So that right there is an example, and I think the most powerful message is when you write for someone else or to be read by someone, you will put in the effort. Whereas if it's just, oh, it's for an assignment for Ms. Whoever, then there's not as much engagement because there's no authentic audience. That was a phasmophobia moment for me. I enjoy phasmophobia as well. So for elementary school, other things are like about me books, appreciation stories, fractured fairy tales are also popular, science stories. So we've had like students write about the water cycle, for example, research projects, things like that, that are very important. One other thing that's not on these slides because it just came up recently is I am working with Digital Citizenship Institute and the Digital Citizenship Summit, and we're trying to find ways for students to write digital citizenship stories on elementary, and more importantly have older students write stories to educate younger students. We're also working on an intergenerational project, so more details of those will probably come out in the spring, where we're going to be doing like lessons to try to get students to write stories for the elderly in order to connect. And really it's all about authentic audience, like Lisa says. Okay, so for middle school kids really like anime. And so we have a lot of anime characters with a lot of facial expressions, and they have a blast trying to create everything from the new girl at school story to a brave adventurer who's, trying to find treasure. And visual novels, if you're not familiar with the term, it's a genre of video games originally from Japan, and it's characterized as a narrative game. So it's basically a game that's literally just about reading the story and making choices based upon the story. So we have quite a few of those on the platform as well. The other thing that is really cool is personalized stories. So this actually goes further, and I don't really want to delve too much into it, but this goes into more complex computer science concepts. So if you have a coding teacher who is interested in maybe having their students practice variables or understanding what variables are, or maybe you are like, oh, I want my kids to create a really cool game, then we have text variables, conditionals, and all sorts of things that make games really, really exciting. So I want to showcase this one, which is actually done by one of the students in my online coding club that I used to run in October and November. I stopped this month because I'm doing Hour of Code with classes and teachers. So if you are a teacher who's interested in having an Hour of Code / virtual field trip with me this month, please register. I'll put the link somewhere, and you can register there, and I will come into your class and talk about myself. We'll do an activity together and have fun with that. So yeah. So this one is a personality test. Find out more about yourself. And this uses the variables to store what your choices are and map them to basically the result that you'll have in the end. And I was really impressed by this because this was actually not like an assignment by me or anything. It was the kid just created it at home and was like, here, take a look at my awesome story. So when you look in the mirror, you think, I'm fine with how I look. I want to change the way I look, whatever. Type 1, 2, or 3 in the chat if you want to vote what to put. And yeah, middle school and high school love manga and anime. I love anime too. Okay, I see 3. Anyone else have any? Okay, we have 3. Let's go, 3. Okay, what do you do when other people what do you think other people think of you when they first see you? It doesn't matter. I like the image I give the world. I'm sure they think, ew, they must be immediately charmed. Okay, go. 1, 2, or 3. Type in the chat. I see 1 from Anne. Any other votes? 1, 1, 1. It doesn't matter. I like the image I give to the world. Great. What is your ideal pet? I don't want a pet. It'll just die. A cat all the way. I think I'll pick a dog. So are we dog people, cat people, no pet people? Okay, we have cat people. Okay, we're all cat people here. Okay, I hate it when people argue with me, people are mad at me. I have to talk to humans. 1, 2, or 3. Okay, I see 1, 3. Okay, we have people who don't want to talk to people. That's fine. When people argue with me, I think that's the majority vote. Okay, in my free time, I just relax, watch TV, read a book. 1, 2, or 3. I see 2, 3, 3. Okay, we're all bookworms here. We're bookworms. Let's go. My favorite activity is anything that gives me a good workout. I don't like physical activity. ice skating, or something calming but also fun? 1, 2, or 3? Okay, I see 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, we're all workout people here. Not so much me, but sure. My ideal friends are, I don't have friends, popular, so I am too, funny, and not afraid to make a joke. Which ones? 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, we like funny people. Funny people it is. My family is the worst. They never agree with me. Exactly like me, we see eye to eye. Unbearable at times, but they're mostly all right. So I have a question link for feedback doesn't work. 2, 1, 3. Unbearable. Okay, unbearable. When I meet someone, I look for how they treat other people, what everyone else thinks of them, whether or not they look like someone I would hang out with. 1, 2, or 3. This is the last question. How they treat other people? Great. So the results are as follows. You don't care what other people think of you. You also have realistic expectations of how people look. Plus, you are definitely a cat person and you're kind of controlling. You truly know how to lose yourself in daydreams and you don't lose your cool too easily. You can always be relied on for advice. When asked, people would describe you as funny and able to cheer people up. And even though you can get aggravated with your family sometimes, you still unconditionally love them. Finally, don't worry, you're a good person. So that's the result. And if you really want to see how it's coded, you're like, how does this work? I think my kids would like it, or I have some kids that I think really need a challenge. You can click on Remix. You can see how everything works. So that's a basic example. This does obviously require a little bit more coding knowledge. So this student in particular, this is, I think, her like 5th book that she created. But I mean, her first book was just a hidden picture book. And she gradually created more and more complex stories over time. So personalized stories are great. Independent projects, basically anything that is research related. If you can put it in PowerPoint, you could put it in Elementary, or if you could put it in Google Slides, you can do so in Elementary, basically. How long did it take for that student? I think she spent a week on it, but she previously already had an hour of instruction talking about what variables are. So I helped her with that. And if you're interested in doing so with one of your classes, you can sign up for one of my hours of code and I can get you started with it. And then the kids can just finish writing it afterwards. So I also do that with Choose Your Own Adventure, where I help them with getting started with understanding how to code the Choose Your Own Adventure. And then the rest of the time, the teacher can help with actually editing their writing and helping them with their writing and doing the writing process. So for the character profile I showed you, I originally created it as a character analysis template. So where students can, do something like a quote and create a analysis based upon the quote. That's something pretty simple to do. You can use the template in your own story as well. Digital escape rooms. A lot of teachers love escape rooms and they're like, how do I get started? How do I create one? How does this even work? Can my students do it? And I say, yes, you can create an escape room. I have a template for you. I have a video tutorial for you and a teacher's guide for you. So if you want to create one based upon the template or just learn how to do so, you can follow that. And also the best thing to demonstrate student understanding is by having students create their own escape rooms. And I think they would love to do so. And once again, when they know that someone is going to be playing it, when they know that what they do matters, they will be engaged. So, and the last thing is, once again, research projects. So this one in particular was called The Story of Oxygen. I believe it was when they were researching periodic table elements, and the chemistry teacher told his students that they needed to research the element and then create a story about it or something that explains what the elements are. So there's a link to that as well for this one. And finally, I'm really big on collaborations between classes, between students, across classes, things like that. And this one is one that I think is really, really cute, which is when high school students or even middle school or upper elementary school students create a picture book, an interactive picture book, and voice act it around some sort of theme or topic. It could be educational or not. It could just be for fun. And they share that with a partner K-2 class. So Desiree's telling me I am out of here. I have 5 minutes left. Any questions before anything else? I do want to answer the questions. please let me know if you have any questions at all. And I will share the links with Desiree. She'll email those out to you. That includes these slides as well as the registration for my hour of code. It is free. You could get your kids on it. I think it's pretty fun, and hopefully I can also inspire some kids to maybe code, because I actually didn't start out as a coder. I always say I wanted to be a musician when I grew up, so it was a big switch, and it just shows that life is an adventure and we can kind of go anywhere.
That was actually going to be my question is, how do they get the hour of code? How do they get the slideshow? So yes, if you can email me that, I can, if you're watching it on YouTube, I'll put it in the description underneath the video. For everyone who registered, when I send out that email that says, oh, the video's ready, it'll be in there.
Great. It's also on my Twitter, so if you want to go on my Twitter, they have it. It's tagged at the top, how to register for Hour of Code. So I'm running that. And yeah, any other questions?
How do they contact you?
How do we contact me? So you can contact me on Twitter. You can also contact me through the website. Anything that goes through the feedback or the contact form goes to me. And that's probably the easiest ways to contact me, I guess. So Elementari is a mom and pop shop. That's what I always tell people now. Because we're run by 2 people and everything is self-funded and self-developed. So yeah. If you're an 8th grade ELA teacher, this one's really cool. It's created by a librarian. It's on Poe. So I see, can you create a game? So yeah, you can create a game. It's just up to you on how you want to code it. The most popular are escape room games, but you can also do just anything that's a narrative-based game would work.
Okay, and while we're looking at this, I love Poe, so I'm all about this one. I want to go and see it myself. We are going to go ahead and wrap up. So thank you so much, Nicole. I tell people about Elementari, and it's just, I don't think I do it justice when I tell it to them. So thank you so much. Now I can lead them back to this video and just say, like, go and see it. It's a lot in an hour. Like, you'll be in love with it by the end. So thank you so much. Please put love in the chat. Nicole will get a copy of the chat. Thank you for coming to do this for free, for making this product, making it free, giving us options if we want more. Just, I just can't say thank you enough. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me. And I'm always excited to share. So thank you so much, everyone.